Watching nature can be incredibly inspiring, motivating, and peaceful. We're going to go over multiple reasons why this is, and sometimes in our life, all we need is the reduction of stress and anxiety. Observing nature has a calming effect, lowering stress hormones and promoting relaxation. Whether it's watching the ocean waves crash onto the shore or sitting at a bonfire watching the flames dance, there are some moments that we can't quite put our finger on exactly why we're watching with so much bewilderment, and we're also in so much peace. And that's the way I feel watching the animals interact inside this enclosure. Maybe it's because it's the complete opposite of the woods uncut. Even though we have 5 frogs living inside this Australian vivarium, there's no competition. Everybody seems to get along peacefully. They'll sleep together, they'll hang out together, they'll get in the water dishes together, and they just seem like they enjoy each other's presence a lot more than the American toads and wood frogs do in the other tank. It's also important to note that I might be one of the few people left in the United States to have the privilege of caring for bell frogs. The fact that they're critically endangered and I have the chance to watch them in a hallway live out their lives in a large enclosure, and they seem to be so happy, so peaceful, and so calm inside this ecosystem has really made it even more worthwhile. Having the chance to sit back and watch them eat whatever I put in the food dish or whatever crickets or other critters go in for them to hunt. It's really been one of the most enjoyable experiences that I've had. Watching them enjoy the misting system and the fogger, watching them enjoy a sunrise and a sunset, seeing them perk up whenever they hear the audio in the hallway of different Australian frogs and owls and crickets calling. While watching them in this very peaceful and scenic enclosure, it's given me a sense of accomplishment, and I've realized that I've made it just as much as they feel like they have. Yes, they get to live inside the enclosure and enjoy all of the fruit of my labor. However, I get the chance to watch the animals that I love enjoying something that I've provided, and that has given me so much fulfillment that I can't even exactly explain it in the way that would do it justice. But I think that's why this enclosure is so special, because I'm able to make multiple videos without even showcasing feeding episodes or anything involving conflict or any type of challenges. We're literally just sitting back and watching all of these tree frogs living their very best life. And now we have the opportunity to showcase them with new lenses and new technology like never before. Whether it's watching the sunrise or the animals in this habitat, or even how I can change the seasons, all of this is a life lesson that reminds me that sometimes in life, good things take time. And you have to think, from all of the tragedy and all of the challenges and everything that we've faced, losing so many of our dearest friends over the years, that we finally have an opportunity to sit back with the frogs, relax and enjoy them for who they are and what they're able to bring us. Happiness, enjoyment, fulfillment, relaxation, peace, and there's so much more that these guys all create and they bring to my life. Even though this habitat and everything about it is artificial, I still see this as nature. And for me, being in nature creates a sense of self-reflection. It provides that introspection and helping me to find clarity and direction. And hopefully it's like that for all of us. If we go through a difficult time in our lives where we're going through some very challenging times, being out there in nature and just clearing our heads can provide a lot of opportunities for us to make better decisions in the future. And I know for me, sitting back and enjoying watching all of these guys, and of course, I'm guilty of sometimes handing them little snacks. It all comes together for me to find a sense of peace and inner strength. This is the first episode for this show where I used both the Sony 90mm macro lens and the new Sony 24mm to 105 telephoto lens, and I was wondering what your opinion was. Do you like how these lenses complement each other, the far and near shots, the way that we're able to capture the animals up close and personal or showcase them inside their environment, like Jeremiah here on this beautiful branch? As I continue to watch all of the tree frogs sitting so quietly and so peacefully perched high above the floor on these branches, it reminds me that even though these frogs do sit quietly for long periods of time, it's an encouragement moment for us that stillness and mindfulness is very important for us in our busy lives. I think sitting down and watching how Max and the bell frogs are just sitting there, patiently waiting for food, for nightfall or whatever, it gives a sense of patience, of peace, of just sitting still and waiting. I feel like I've become the mailman for these frogs inside this enclosure. Let me explain. Whenever I do tank maintenance and I provide the animals with water and wiping out dirty spots inside the enclosure on a daily basis, I also take their food dishes and move them around to stimulate them and provide enrichment. Sometimes I'll add water, and sometimes I'll add little snacks, things that the frogs are not supposed to get for a regular diet. Something like steak or hamburgers for us would be like crickets and Dubia Roachs for them. Something like French fries for us would be like mealworms, waxworms, and other little critters as well. So I try to use these sparingly, but whenever I do put them in their food dish, Atlas has been very quick to find the delivery and go down and gorge himself before anybody else even knows that the little treats are there. And sometimes he's actually overeaten, which has caused me to be a little bit more cautious with how much I put in this dish. But it's not just for Atlas, and it's really fun to see the other bell frogs and White's tree frogs learning that there's something special inside these little dishes. And it's very rewarding to watch how resourceful and how much these little frogs will utilize. This little bell frog that has gotten into the food dish, I've been trying to come up with a name for quite some time, but yet have not found the right word to describe him. I try to make everything meaningful, and I can't wait to try to come up with his name for this season of the Wild Vivarium show, and I can't wait to showcase him a little bit more. Living inside this new ecosystem, he's come out of his shell, and he's become even more of a star, and I can't wait to showcase him along with Atlas, Claris, Jeremiah, and Max. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope as you watched, you were able to find the same sense of peace that I did, not just filming, but having the chance to take this in every single night. It's truly become one of my favorite pastimes, and I can't wait to focus on this new vivarium for this season of the Wild Vivarium show. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends for more Wild Vivariums content. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.